Welcome back to Java series. In this video, we'll be learning how to print a pattern for row number triangle. So here, if you notice, the input is 5 and the output is 1 followed by the increment of print. Right? In second row, it is 2, 2, 3, 3. So this is the speciality of a row number triangle. By the name itself, we can tell in which row. By the name itself, we can tell every row will follow its particular row number. For example, here the row is 1. So in the first row it must print 1. Similarly, in the second row it must print the row number itself. Since it is second row, it must print double 2. Similarly, here in the third row it must print double 3. Here what happens? Of course, in every pattern printing program, column is dependent on the row. But whatever we write in the column, whatever we write in the inner loop or the column loop, the loop which we create for column, right, it is mainly for printing. But here what happens, I am printing the row itself. Every time in the earlier program, whatever we have seen, we were printing a star pattern or or initially a number, then followed by 1 2 3, then 1 2 3 4 in the third row, fourth row. That is how like we used to follow. And also like we saw about right angle triangle, but they were all mainly on the star pattern. But here we are printing the row itself. Which row it is, that many digits need to be printed of the particular row. So this looks very easy actually. If you think over it, we are only printing the row. So what I'll do, let us let us start with the initialization, or let us start with the tracing. Initially, I'll take the input as 5, or it may be anything. Let me zoom it. So what I'll do, I'll create a for loop. This is for row purpose. So int I equals to 1. Clear? Now I less than or equal to n followed by I incrementation. Why we are incrementing I? Because every time you see in the every row, the number of digit is getting increasing. It's not decreasing. If we see in the inverted right angle, the value has been decreasing. So there we have used decrementation, decrement operator. And here we will be incrementing it in every row, right? So this condition remains same. Next, what I'll do, for int j equals to 1, clear? Now j less than or equal to, what is the condition already? J less than or equal to I. Because since it depends on row, first row means it must print only 1 digit, second row 2 digit. So this condition, the column will depend on the row. So it is j less than or equal to I. Clear? Column must be equal to row as well. Here you see first row, here you see the second row, first column, it is 2. Similarly, second row, second column also it is 2. Right? Now again increment it. Now what I'll write in the print statement. In print statement, I want the row values. From where am I getting the row value? It is from the outer loop. Using I variable, I am getting the row values. So I will print I for every iteration. Clear? I will print I for every iteration because I symbolizes me the row loop. Right? Now I'll close this and I'll move to a new line so that once the iteration completed for the first row, it must start to the second row. Clear? Now I'll close the brakes. Now I'll close it. Yes, this is the program for this. Right? Now let us begin how this will work actually. Let us start with let's start with int I equal to 1. Right? I equal to 1 where 1 less than or equal to 5. Clear? This is a condition which we have given. 1 is less than or equal to n and n is a 5 which we have taken. Next, what we'll do? We will initialize j. Right? The loop will enter to the console will move to the j loop where j equal to 1 and it will check for the condition where this is I, not 1. Yes. Where j less than or equal to I. What is I? I is 1. So as I mentioned in the previous program, the as I mentioned in the previous program, always column depends on the row. So there must be a exist. So you have to check for the condition where j less than or equal to 1. That is 1 less than or equal to 1. Since the condition is true, what will it print in the output? It will print the value of I. What is the value of I we have? It is 1. Print 1 in the first row, right? Now what happens? Initially, now clear, it will print 1 in the first row. Now initially the value of I was 1. Now when j becomes 2 for the second iteration, the condition is false, because 2, because it will check for 2 less than or equal to when the condition is false, and it will print the new line where console will be pointing to the second row, right? Now the loop goes back to the first iteration where the value of I will be incremented to 2, right? The value of I will be incremented to 2, and in the second iteration we will begin with I equals to 2. Again 2 less than or equal to the value of n, that is 5. Now j starts with the fresh iteration where j equals to 1. Now check for the condition 1 less than or equal to the value of I is 2. So 1 less than or equal to 2, the condition is true. We are printing the value of I, right? So what is, we are printing the value of I here. So what is the value of I? In the second iteration it is 2. So in the second line in iteration it will print me as 2, right? Now j gets incremented. J was 1 initially, j gets incremented to 2. Now to check for the condition 2 less than or equal to 2, the condition is true. So again it will print me 2 in the second iteration. Now when j becomes 3, 3 less than or equal to 2, the condition is false. So it will come out of the loop and the console will be pointing to the third row, right? And now the value of I gets incremented to 3, right? So when the value of I is 3, it must print me, the loop must execute 3 times, right? So j will be 1, since it will start with the fresh iteration. So when j is 1, check for the condition j less than or equal to I, that is 1 less than or equal to 3. The condition is true. So it will print me the value of I. I means the value of a row. Since it is a third row and the value of I is 3, it would print me as 3, right? Now when j is 2, again check for the condition 2 less than or equal to the 3, the condition is true, right? Now again it will print me as 3. Now when j is 3, 3 less than or equal to 3, either of the condition will match. 3 is equal to 3, right? So it would print as 3 in the third iteration, right? Now when j is 4, the condition becomes false where 4 is not equal to the value of I is 3. It is not less than 3 and it is not equal to 3 as well. So the loop goes, the for loop comes out and it will print the new line where console will be pointing to the fourth row. Now the value of I would get incremented to 4, right? Now the fresh value of I is 4, where 4 less than or equal to 5, right? Now when it enters the inner loop, that is the j loop, would the value of j would be 1, where 1 less than or equal to 4, right? So the condition is true. So it is printing the value of I. Value of I means value of row. Value of row means 4 in the fourth iteration. Next, when j is 2, when j is 2, it will again check for the condition. 2 less than or equal to 4, the condition is true. So it will print me the value of I again in my iteration. Next, when 3 less than or equal to 4, it will again, the condition is true and again it will print me the value of I, that is 4. Now when 4 is less than or equal to 4, it would again print me the same value, that is 4. Now when it comes to the fifth iteration, that is when 5 less than or equal to 4, the condition is false. So it will break and it will come out of this iteration. It will break and it will come out of this j loop and the console will move to the next line, right? In the fifth row. Now the value of I gets incremented to 5. Clear? So the value of I is 5, where I equals to 5 and 5 less than or equal to 5 has the condition which we have mentioned here, I less than or equal to n. Now j is 1. Now keep on checking till fifth iteration. J is less than or equal to I, the condition is true. So the value of I gets printed in the fifth row. That is 5. Next, when J is 2. 2 less than or equal to I means 5. So the condition is true. Print I. What is the value of I? It is 5. Right? Next, what we have? The J value gets incremented to 3. Check for the condition. 3 less than or equal to 5. The condition is true. Again, it will print me 5 in the fifth iteration. Next, it is J value is 4. 4 less than or equal to 5, the condition is true. Right? So the value of I is 5. Next, when 5 less than or equal to 5, the condition is true. Right? So in the fifth row, it will print me as it will print as 5. Right? Now, when J is 6, the condition is false. When J is 6, the condition is false, and finally it will come out of the loop and I gets incremented to 6. But since 6 is not less than or equal to 5, and since even that this condition is false, it will directly come out of the for loop. Clear? It will not even execute the I loop, it will directly come out of this for loop, and whatever is there outside, it will start printing. So finally in your output, you will see this row number pattern. In the first row, it contains the row number, that is 1. Similarly, in the second row, it will print the pattern as 2, then followed with the same incrementing series depending on the row, depending on the row. Now let us see how to execute it. So this is your program. Here, like if you have seen, we are using the same condition, I less than or equal to n in the outer loop and j less than or equal to I in the inner loop as well. But only thing what we are changing is we are making use of a row, that is I, because I want to print the row series. Right? Now let me execute it. Let me execute it. Yes, here if I provide the input as 5, then it will print me the row series as shown in the tracing part. Right? So if I provide even some other number like 10, so it would print even this. Right? If you see, the fourth row contain 4 digits, and the seventh row contains 7 digits, and finally the 10th row will contain 10th digit. And here it must stop at the 10th row. So to stop it, we make sure it will stop. We make sure the condition is true here. If I put only I less than n, then what it will print? It will print me the values from 1 to 9. It will print me the row series from first row to 9th row, not including the 10th row. Right? Let me show you it as well. Yes, because when I is 9, when I becomes 9, 9 less than 10, the condition is true. So it will print me 9th series. When I enters 10 or when I gets incremented to 10, 10 is not less than 10. So the condition is false. To make it true, we have to put the condition I equals to I less than or equal to 10, so that either of the condition, either less than will match or equal to will match. So we will write this condition, and when I execute, the 10th row also, the 10th row will be included. Yes, right? So this is the row number triangle program. If you understood the video, please like the video, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.